construction experts, you're talking about scientists, you're talking about engineers being employed to build huge, big sewage overflow tanks the size of Olympic swimming pools, thousands of these underground across the country. So we don't think we can do it faster than this, but we're determined to make every effort we can to start putting this problem right.
And where's the money going to come from? Shareholders or customers?
Well, what we're doing is we're asking shareholders to put down a huge down payment, multi-billion-pound down payment, to start putting this problem right. It's the biggest transformation project in the water industry's history since the Victorian times. The way the system works is that over the lifetime of the asset, customers do pay that money back in modest increases in their bills. Over the last 10 years, I think it's important to remember that real water bills have fallen for the average customer, and our research shows us that customers on the whole are prepared to pay a little bit more to see this sort of investment undertaken.
But customers will be asking, why on earth should they be having to put their hand in their pocket when the water industry paid out £1.4 billion in dividends last year?
Well, I think as a sign of the seriousness with which the water companies are taking this issue, all water company CEOs have come together and they've said they're not going to pay a single penny, for instance, on bonuses out of customer funds this year. Half of them, the water and sewage companies across England and Wales, are waiving their bonus entirely. On dividends, I don't quite recognise the picture that you're painting. On dividends last year, 3 of the 10 water and sewage companies actually made a loss, and the average return across the sector was less than 4%. Now that's not that much more than you'd get if they just put it in the bank on deposit. So we do need to attract hundreds of billions of investment over the coming decades into the sector. We have to compete against other utility companies, the energy companies, the airports, the rail sector. We have to compete for this money. So it's right that a dividend ought to be paid, but as I say, the dividends have been at fairly low levels compared to other sectors.
Even after this investment, sewage spills may still be in the 100,000s. I mean, why is it ever acceptable for untreated sewage to enter waterways?
Yeah, I mean, it's right. It's a really horrible relic of the past to see untreated sewage go into the waterways. You never would have built a system from scratch today in that way. It's hard to understand why water from bathrooms and kitchens is mingled with fresh groundwater and rainwater and all treated together. You wouldn't design a system like that, but that is the system we've got, and it is going to take time to put that right. Now, even with billions of pounds of investment, if you look at the London sewer as an example, £4 billion just putting into the Thames water area to treat London's sewage, that doesn't eliminate leaks, spills completely, but they do become extremely limited, and the harm that is caused is completely eliminated. So we won't get to a situation where they all disappear, but we are going to make a dramatic impact on the harm caused by spills.
Presumably this investment is not going to be equally spread across the country. I mean, somewhere like United Utilities in the northwest, I mean, their sewage spill level is about 4 or 5 times the rate of somewhere like Southern Water in the south of England.
Yeah, you're right. The infrastructure is different in different parts of the country. More work needs to be done in some areas than others. As a water sector, we're saying hold us to account for the investments that we make, and we want to do this in 2 ways. First, by publishing a detailed investment plan. There are 15,000 overspills in this country, overflows that lead to spills. We want to publish an investment plan which overflow spill by overflow spill says exactly what's going to happen, when the money is going to be invested, and what the result of that is going to be, so that people will be able to see that. Secondly, by this time next year, we're saying to people, log on. We're going to have a single central data hub. You can log on. You can check for your locality, see exactly if any discharges have been made, what discharges have been made, and decide whether you want to go bathing at that time. So real accountability and transparency around the level of discharges across the country.
A parting thought from you, if you would, please. I mean, water privatisation has led to £160 billion worth of investment. As you said, water bills are far lower in the UK or in England and Wales than they are in countries where the state operates the water system. Why is it, do you think, so many people favour renationalisation?
Well, sometimes I think renationalisation is seen as free money, but obviously it's not. And I mean, I've sat in the Treasury as a Treasury Minister, and I've sat on the other side of the table as well, where people come to bid for investment. And I know how difficult it would be under a nationalised sector to really get the investment that's so desperately needed when you're competing against investment in hospitals and in schools. So it's not a free win scenario, as it were, being nationalised. That money has to come from somewhere. And what we're saying is that shareholders stand ready to invest hundreds of billions of pounds in the water sector to really improve it. All
right, Ruth Kelly, got to leave it there. Good to see you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bit of breaking news to bring you. A transgender butcher has pleaded guilty to abducting a schoolgirl in the Scottish borders and taking her home to repeatedly sexually abuse her. Our Scotland correspondent Conor Gillies is at Edinburgh High Court and has more. Conor.
Yeah, this is a highly distressing case that unfolded in the Scottish borders in February of this year. And it centres around someone who was referred to as a man inside the court building here in the last few minutes, a man known as Andrew Miller. But he also refers to himself as Amy George. The court heard that he is in the process of transitioning to a woman at this stage. Now, this is important because in February of this year, we have learned that this person, while identifying as Amy George, while dressed as a woman, lured a schoolgirl into his car in the Scottish borders while she was walking home one Sunday evening and got into the car. The girl thought that it was a safe haven given this person was dressed as a woman. There were no buses in the area. Her phone, we heard in the court, was out of battery. So she got into that vehicle and it quickly descended into one of the most dangerous crimes that the courtroom has heard in quite a while. This girl, who of course her anonymity must be protected through this, so details we have to be careful about what we can say. She was taken back to the property of Amy George, Andrew Miller, locked in the bedroom and repeatedly sexually assaulted. The court heard some pretty distressing details that we cannot report for legal reasons, taste and decency clearly being one of them. But we heard that this girl made a brave attempt to flee the scene and was successful in that attempt after a great many hours. Andrew Miller, Amy George had fallen asleep. The girl escaped that room and managed to phone 999. The police clearly descended on that property within minutes and she was saved. The court heard that police said that her fear was palpable. Now, the court heard some details around the person appearing in the dock via video link today. We understand that at the time they were identifying as a woman, but when they appeared in the police station, they said it would be easier to identify as a man, their gender assigned at birth. They are currently in the process, we understand, of transitioning as well. The detail is still unfolding here. The hearing is continuing, but this is pretty distressing content emerging of a schoolgirl, a young girl, who was abducted from a street, lured into a vehicle and repeatedly sexually assaulted at the hands of a local businessman who was a butcher.
OK, thanks, Conor. Now, earlier in the week, we reported how Vice Media, the digital news startup, had filed for bankruptcy protection ahead of it being acquired by its creditors. Well, the plight of Vice and some other titles, such as BuzzFeed, have highlighted the difficulties for digital startups. But older, established titles have also faced challenges in changing their business model to embrace digital. One of them is the NME, founded 71 years ago, which went online only in 2018. Joining me now is Holly Bishop. She's Chief Operating and Commercial Officer at NME Networks. Holly, welcome to you. I mean, you went free in 2015 and then closed the print edition in 2018. How's the NME traded since then?
So I think if you look at NME as a brand, one of the most exciting, takeouts from the brand is that we are a 70-year-old youth brand, which is unique in itself in 2023. We have this incredible legacy behind us, which continues to inspire us day to day, but we don't allow ourselves to be absorbed too much by the past. And NME as a brand has always been at the forefront of change and innovation, whether that's through our journalistic tastes and surfacing of new music and new genres, and even, as you mentioned, as we evolved into new platforms. So, we were one of the early adopters of .com in '96, and then, moving into various iterations of a print product, and, most recently the free sheet model. And, if we look at the free sheet proposition, it definitely served a purpose for the brand in terms of, driving that inclusivity and representing music as it is today, and the tastes of today's millennial and Gen Z audiences. Tribalism has been eroded, and actually that free sheet proposition allowed us to invite new genres of music and really broaden the output of the brand, and not just for music. As we start to secure a future for the brand, it was about diversification, and that's about bringing new verticals in. Music is at the intersection of all of pop culture.
And quite. I looked at the website yesterday. I mean, music's only a part of it. There's lots about films and gaming and all sorts.
Yeah, definitely. So, film, TV, gaming are, some of the largest sections of the website. And definitely, if you look at an audience now today, music fans, our film fans, our gaming fans, they are one and the same. And so to come to us as as an authentic voice that has been here for 70 years and be able to deliver content in across the platforms that our audience are consuming them, but in new verticals, that's great for us and great for our audience.
What do you know about your customers and your audience? I mean, how much use do you make of data?
I think, data plays a part, but also, we really double down on what we know we do best, which is our position of discovery. For the last 70 years, we have really championed emerging music, and this is something that is very much our position of strength and something that, we stand by and we are committed to in the long term. And I think, we will always celebrate the icons, of course, but it's our support of, the underground and championing that emerging talent that gives us a real point of difference.
Do you think, I used to read it religiously when I was younger, the golden era of sort of Stuart Maconie and Stephen Wells writing for the NME. Have you ever got plans to digitise some of that old print stuff and put it up online?
I think there's definitely a place to bring some of the old into the new, and actually recently we worked on a commercial partnership with Bose, a significant industry leader in the audio space, and we resurfaced the iconic C-Series mixtapes. And
I had one, C86. I've still got it at home.
Yeah, exactly. So we brought that back and reimagined it for a 2023 audience, and that was a really exciting project. And for all parties, really, it was an opportunity for us to surface emerging talent, which is obviously what we're great at, but also provide opportunities for that talent to connect with audiences in many different ways. So yes, we put the mixtape on all the digital platforms that didn't exist back in '86, but we also created a cassette and pressed a vinyl for it, and gave 6 artists the chance to play on stage at South by Southwest in Austin in Texas. So many ways that brands, fans, musicians can connect with the brand that keep us relevant and keep us young.
Very good, Holly. Got to leave it there, I'm afraid. Good to see you this morning.
Thank you.
Well, after a strong finish on Wall Street last night on hopes of a deal to raise the US debt ceiling, equity markets in the Asia-Pacific region had a solid session overnight. The Nikkei in Tokyo hit a fresh 20-month high, up nearly 1.75%. Well, in Europe, markets are also largely in positive territory this morning. Here's the current picture. All the main indices up by at least around 0.5% or more. Here in London, on a busy day for company results, the FTSE 100 is also in positive territory, up just over 0.5%. The leading blue chip gainer right now is Convatec. That's the medical devices and medical equipment supplier. The shares up there 3.75% following a trading update. Meanwhile, the exhibitions and events group Informa, its shares ahead by just over 2% today. An acquisition it's announced has been well received. On the downside, Burberry is off by nearly 6.5% right now. That's on news of a quarterly drop in sales in the United States, but BT Group is just about the leading faller, off by nearly 7% on its results. Outside the FTSE 100, again, a really busy day for company results today. Premier Foods, that's the Mr. Kipling maker you can see on the screen there, they're up by 3.5%. The biggest mid-cap gainer right now, though, is Aston Martin Lagonda. The shares ahead there by some 13%, and that's on news of a £234 million investment by the Chinese car maker Geely that will see the owner of Lotus become the company's third largest shareholder. Meanwhile, the house builder Vistry, its shares are up by some 3.25%. That's on an upbeat trading update. On the foreign exchange markets, well, those debt ceiling talks have given the US dollar a bit of lead in its pencil this morning. Sterling is off by nearly 0.5% against the greenback. The euro is also down by 1/3% against the dollar. Meanwhile, the single currency itself is ahead against sterling by nearly 1/6% right now. On the oil markets, commodity markets, the oil price rallied yesterday on news of higher than expected crude inventories. Today, a barrel of crude, Brent crude, will set you back $76.53 a barrel. That's off a little over 0.5% on the session. Well, joining me this morning is Salman Ahmed, Global Head of Macro and Strategic Asset Allocation at Fidelity International. Salman, great to see you this morning. Looking at your latest big global calls, you still think risks are very much to the downside on GDP forecasts. Why is that?
Good morning, Ian. Definitely, I think we are basically focused on this slow-moving credit crunch, which is building up in the background. Of course, we've had a lot of tightening since last year. That then started to transform into these banking stresses we saw in the US. And if you look at the lending survey data, what we are seeing is that banks are increasingly tightening lending standards, and that is consistent with some kind of credit contraction going forward. And that's underpinning our forecast of downside risk to GDP growth as these stresses come through in a slower moving fashion, but still in an environment where credit availability starts to drop. And that's where the downside risk is coming from.
Salman, how is that informing your asset allocations right now? Because obviously, what you've just told me, it feels like there's a bit of a disconnect with some equity markets right now.
And yes, there is a disconnect between equity markets and bond markets as well. So the bond markets are much more, I would say, worried. You see cuts being priced in across the board. And now those cuts don't come for free, in the sense like there has to be an environment which justifies the key central banks to pivot. And that pivot will potentially come through if growth is under pressure, and that will have an impact on earnings. So that disconnect between equity and bond market is quite a sharp one, and that's why we have become more defensive on equities at the top-down level, even though we maintain a stance that EM will probably do better than developed markets. But overall, we are concerned that equity market valuations are not capturing these kind of downside risks, which are slower moving in the pipeline.
Salman, what about this talk about the US debt ceiling? I mean, markets seem to be taking a fairly sanguine approach towards this. Are the dangers of a US debt default out of the way now?
As we know that these kind of issues have happened many times over the recent past, and ultimately the resolution comes through. So the market's view is that they don't want to be caught out by ultimate resolution. So that's one of the reasons why this comfort is still there. But we do think that this will go to the wire. You will have day-to-day news flow around it, but this will go to the wire because of the polarization which is currently in place in Washington. And then at some point, for a very short period of time, hopefully, that markets may have to get involved and put pressure on policymakers to get to a resolution. So this can get tricky as we move towards June, because if this is not raised, then the US government will run out of money by mid-June.
Now, going back to your global macro outlook, the one part of the world that you are reasonably optimistic for is Japan. Obviously, we've had some tremendous company results out of Japan lately. The Nikkei is on an absolute tear. For how long is that sustainable, do you think?
We think there is structural underpinning now supporting Japan because it's a value market first and foremost, and in an environment where real rates are positive, we do think that value style can do better. But in terms of Japan itself, we have had a lot of structural development in terms of improving corporate governance standards. That has helped a lot, and then these companies are starting to innovate. And you get bang for buck from a valuation perspective. So from a structural perspective, we are positive on Japan, and the fact that positive real rates will help from a value style dimension as well.
It's a really interesting point you make, because over the last decade or so, all of the focus has been on emerging markets such as China, to a lesser extent India perhaps. Japan often gets overlooked by global investors. Do you think it's back in the shop window again now? Do you hear people talking about Japan more?
Yes, certainly our client base is more and more queries we are getting on Japan, because ultimately international investors are underweight Japan from a structural perspective. And then as US equity markets start to look more expensive, given the issues we discussed, there is this reallocation force in play, which is basically benefiting Japan from a capital demand perspective as well. But of course, there is underlying improvement in the market and the governance standards as well, which is helping. So there is, I think it's a sweet spot from more demand and supply perspective.
All right, Salman, we have to leave it there. It's good to see you again this morning. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Ian.
Still to come here on Ian King Live, we're going to be hearing from Advertising Week Europe as executives discuss the impact of AI on the industry. Stay with us.
Property developers, estate agent, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. or you can visit our website www.worldlamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@worldlamp@gmail.com. World Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. The whole of darkness.
So what did that
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on The CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
The best radio show.
Body is your man. Bekutu, show them you got the cocoa set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Starr Radio. Don't go nowhere. UK, London. We they call them London for home. For here, we they call them London. And that's how you know. Just have fun and stay blessed.
Hi there. This is CJ Buckman, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Starr Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you are.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and The Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio. This is
UK.
Starr Radio
UK.
This is Starr Radio
UK.
Welcome.
broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio. Starr Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
Love for you runs deep. All of you makes my heart beat. You make a doubt they fade. Jesus, and that's what makes you great. You hold the world in your hands. The hand that made me who I am. Same God now, yesterday, and forevermore. And that's what makes you great. You are God. You will never change. You remain the same till the end. Till the end. You are God. One who took my pain, took away my shame. Lord, you reign. That's why forever call you great. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord.
Okay, let me say massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth, and those of you on other planets as well. I want to salute each and every one of you, and once again say welcome to the Thursday edition of the morning show. Today is the 18th day of the 5th month and the year 2023. Time now 10:45 from the hearts of London.
All of you makes my.
Let's say good morning to my team this morning, Mr. Olayomi, Koiki, and Mr. Francis Guy, my able producer. Good morning to you, gentlemen. And to all the presenters on Starr Radio, you can salute each and every one of you. Felix all the way in Aberdeen, Kojudi here in the south. Good morning to you and to the families there as well.
You remain the same till the end.
Bishop Adesina, good morning to you all. Anthony Adedeji, Pastor Mo, good morning to you all. Olakunle, good morning. Aziz, good morning. And let me put it this way, all protocol observed. So once again, welcome to the program. Well, for the sake of those who have tuned in for the first time to listen to us on the Starr Radio UK Morning Show, this is how the program goes. I'm going to bring you the quote for the day, the weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel update as well. We'll go from there to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe, known as Global Trotting. Then after that, we'll bring you updates from Nigeria at 11 o'clock. Then from there, we continue to look at some of the other stories making the rounds across the globe. The lights will be open at 12 o'clock. Then the curtains will be brought down at 12:30. But wherever you are, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I remain yours sincerely, the one and only.
Archie. All of you makes my heart beat. You make a doubt they fade.
To Mr. Bernard Bruce, good morning to you. Yes, I'm on air. All right then.
Great. You hold the world in your hands.
So the quote for the day says what? It says, our choices of what is right or wrong must be guided by values and principles higher than our personal needs and aspirations. So the fact that you think, oh, it's okay, if there is something, some law other than that, higher than that, makes you think about things, that the fact that it's good for you, nothing necessarily mean that it's good for everyone. All right, so you reconsider what you're going to be doing. Well, a word to a wise is always up north. All right then, let's crack on. When it comes to the weather front, well, we're having some warm weather, but there's a chance of some rain there. But let me bring you details of that. For those of you in London and southeast of England, this is how the weather is going to be for you today. This afternoon, we'll see variable cloud cover with a few showers developing, turning drier, but mostly cloudy by the evening. There'll be a light southerly breeze as well. Tonight looks to continue mostly cloudy throughout with just the odd clearer spells, dry to start with, but overnight a few showers will develop, becoming more frequent towards dawn. The top temperature is going to be 18 degrees, the lower is going to be 9 degrees. Pollen level low, UV level high, pollution low, sunset 2050, and sunrise for tomorrow morning 0505 hours. That brings us to the end of the weather forecast.
And that's what makes you great.
That is coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. So let's take a quick break and then we bring you the rest of what you got to know. That is your travel.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, so keep your eyes on the roads, keep your eyes on the roads. I will keep you navigated. I promise I'll be on the Starr Radio Travel App that comes your way every weekday from 10:40. It's now 10:49. Let's move on then. Okay, so on your travel this morning, for those of you in London and the southeast of England, this is how it is on the underground. Now, the Northern Line has got severe delays between Kennington and Camden Town, northbound via Bank, due to an earlier track fault at Euston. Good service on the rest of the line, though, and London Underground is accepting tickets via any reasonable route. Now, Waterloo and City Line has also got minor delays due to a shortage of trains. That aside, all the other underground lines, good service there. London Overground, DLR, and London Tramlink, good service there as well. Keep your eyes on the roads, keep your eyes on the roads. Let's go to the major roads in London. Well, Central London Red Route has got serious delays. If you can avoid it, do your best to avoid that. But that aside, all the others, no exceptional delays, so you can zoom through it like no man's business. On the riverbank this morning, I can tell you assuredly, good service. The London Cable Car, good service there as well. But moving on straight to the final segment of the travel update, that's the National Rail. This is what is happening. Give me or lend me your ears. Now, C2C, minor delays. Children Railway, special service. Cross Country, minor delays. Gatwick Express, no service. Great Northern, special service. Great Western Railway, severe delays. Greater Anglia, special service. Southeastern, minor delays. Southern, special service. And Thameslink, special service there as well. And as I would say all the time, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today. But you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the road.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Okay, welcome back to the program, Star Radio UK, the Thursday edition of the morning show, 10:52 the time, and it's time for Global Trotting. So we're going to be moving very fast this morning. But as I say all the time, if you are sitting, sit very comfortably, buckle up. If you are standing, hold on to something, get yourself a cold or hot drink, whichever is appropriate, and let's take this journey. Well, when it comes to Nigeria, some of the stories I'm going to be looking at this morning. PDP Labour Party kicks as U.S. Secretary of State calls Tinubu. And the PDP, the health minister says over 1 billion people suffer from hypertension. Is it worldwide that you're talking about there? Or what is it all about? Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well. Now, to other stories, Article says Nigeria is demoralized over U.S. decision to endorse sham Tinubu election. Well, maybe they are looking at the bigger picture. If they don't endorse that, what else is going to happen there? But who knows? Who knows? Who knows? There are other stories making the rounds there. And let me tell you what the Sokoto... The Sultan of Sokoto has said. The Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Muhammadu, the president has said that the president not being inaugurated on May 29 has commented on the controversies around the possibility of Bola Tinubu's inauguration. So what controversies is he talking about? After all, everybody seems to be like waiting for the endorsement of the US, which has come through Secretary Blinken, and therefore they think that, well, everything is clear, let's go. But more going to be coming your way from there, so stay tuned, don't go away. Peter Obi article behaving like Trump. Keyamu is sharing that. Lamidi Apapa says he's vowing that he's going to be at the Presidential Petition Court on Friday. And it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Making the rounds in Nigeria still, 30 killed in header farmers clashes. That is one of the stories making the rounds there as well. Moving on straight to some of the other stories making the rounds on the African continent still. French army in spotlight over journalist abduction in northern Mali, and pro-army supporters want UN envoy to Sudan out. Why? It looks like they are pro-army supporters, so they are the ones who support the army, and those civilians who did not support, I don't know what they might all be doing at the moment though. Businesses, individuals might prepare for surge in taxes, Professor Bokpin on IMF program. And some are commenting that the Ghana breach debt sustainability analysis, that's what led to the debt distress. That's what the IMF is saying. Ghana's fiscal policy characterized by overspending, structural weak domestic revenue mobilization, says the IMF. It looks like, well, they said that, well, the money is going to be hitting the country's coffers pretty soon. Adams Muhammad Meda Focus 6 bail pending retrial. And Jogate storms Kumewu. I remain committed to Asin, not despite Supreme Court disappointing decision. Jechikwe said. So there's going to be a by-election there. How is it going to be panning out there? It's a question on the lips of most people. Russia launches 9th Kyiv air attack this month. All missiles over the capital were shot down, but falling debris caused some damage, Ukraine says. more former house workers yearning for their old lives in the now Russian-held city. A taxi driver who drove the successes said, I think they were being chased the whole day or something, says New Yorker Sonny Singh. Starr Radio UK. In the UK, water companies say they are sorry over spilling raw sewage. Utilities in England pledges a £10 billion upgrade of sewage systems, which will have a modest impact on bills. Okay, we hope to see. 1 million cancelled broadband as living cost rises. Now, Citizens Advice says the high cost of living means many are struggling to afford essential services. Sorry, BT is to cut 55,000 jobs with up to a fifth replaced by AI. I did say this the other time. So with the surgeons of AI, what are we going to be seeing? I'll tell you more about that. Voters to decide who sits on Northern Ireland local councils. A total of 807 candidates are competing for 462 seats in council chambers across Northern Ireland. Those are some of the stories making the rounds on Global Trotting today. So now enjoy some music, and I promise to bring you the one and only Mr. Olayomi Koiki in the next few moments. But this once again from the new song, and it says Nyajidi, have faith, don't throw in the towel yet, it's not done. You have life, and therefore there is hope for you. So enjoy that song, and I'll be with you. Stay tuned.
Broadcasting worldwide online
goodness, it is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Oh, some lovely tune there. Don't throw in the towel. It doesn't matter the circumstances that you find yourself in right now. As I say all the time, there is life and therefore there is hope. So whilst we wait for Mr. Olayomi Koiki to join in to bring you the updates from Nigeria. Well, the Women to Women Ministries want to invite each and every one of you to the supermarket sweep program. Now, what has supermarket got to do with it? Well, something pertaining to cooking or what you eat, what you put inside you. So they said, the Pastor Annette Hercules, the host pastor, is inviting all men and women, everyone. And it says unpacking food labels and what they really mean. How to read food labels in a rush. I never go to the supermarket and then have time to be loitering about like women do, you know. So I just want it in there, quick, pop, and I'm out. But, well. How do you read the labels? What is the traffic light system and how you can use it? And demystifying terms such as whole grain, whole food, plant-based, low fat, etc. If you want to know more, join them on Saturday the 20th of May. That is coming Saturday, 2023, time 1 p.m. And the venue is going to be the Fulham United Reformed Church. And that it's gonna be exactement at 1 p.m. as I did say, 472 to 480 Fulham Palace Road, London, South, SW6 6HY, the postcode, SW6 6HY, the postcode. And that speaker is going to be Rebecca Harris. She holds a BSc Global Nutrition and Health. She's going to be joining me. Rebecca Harris is going to be joining me tomorrow between 12:15 and 12:30 or 12:45 to bring you what she's going to be looking at when it comes to the show or that program, Supermarket Sweep. For any contacts, call them on 07808807151. Let me take it again. 07808807151. Okay, let's take a quick commercial break, and once we come back, we'll be having Mr. Olayomi Koiki joining in. So wherever you are, stay tuned, don't you go away. This evening, KB Bossman is going to come your way with a smasher of a program once again. And which one is that? The Property Hour Show. So stay tuned, don't you go away.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the program. It is Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. On your screens at the moment, you find out that, well, this evening, KB Bossman with Vicky Newton will be hosting the African, South African women in the real estate. Dansua Adote, Abba Amoa, and Hannah Atiase. On the Property Hour show between 7 and 8 p.m. So make a date with them when that program comes your way. All right then. So coming your way from Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And it is now time for us to go to Nigeria with all the updates that is making the headlines with our own Mr. Olayomi Koiki in our Love London studios, who is going to be bringing you everything that you need to know when it comes to the updates from Nigeria. But let me say good morning to you, Yomi. How are you doing, sir?
Well, very good morning to you back in the studio, Mr. Archie. Good morning to all our listeners and viewers, and welcome once again to the Thursday edition. It is the 18th day of May. I'm doing very well. It's good to be back again after another beautiful program yesterday. But once again, it is the bright, beautiful weather out there, and we hope those that have connected as well from the sister broadcast, we say good morning and welcome to Star Radio UK.
Okay, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki there in our North London studios, where it's going to be telling you more about what is happening. But a quick one, as we normally would do after the Niger Voices, we have you just giving some a sneak view of what was discussed, so that it will, as a teaser, so that people can go to the social media pages to go and listen to it. Yomi, so what was discussed on the Niger Voices yesterday, sir?
Well, yeah, yesterday, tend to focus back, to our relationship with the United States, and again, the death of 4 individuals that were killed in Anambra State. So we spent the good hours of almost 2 hours, discussing, who could be behind these and what could be the reason, for such an attack. Was it a compromise mission? All this information is still very, very sketchy, even almost, 72 hours, to the site, to the sad development. We talked about the response of the federal government, President Muhammadu Buhari, that returned into the country after another week in London, looking after his suit because of the advice from his dentist. So it seems that the president returned back with this very sad news of convoy that has to do with American personnel. No American citizen were involved, but the information gathered says that those that were involved are part of American staff in Nigeria, especially 2 of them are consulate, and likewise the other 2 were drivers. They were not just only killed, they were also burnt as well. There is now another 3 that have been missing, and that is where it still becomes a search and rescue situation. So as we speak today, there is still nothing being said. We're going to be giving more update on that later on, because Anthony Blinken have spoken on that yesterday as well. We're going to be discussing all that during the course of the program this morning. We were also lucky to have one of our security experts, Femi Aratokun-Ale, that called into the program. Is one of the regulars in the, when it comes to security consultant on the Star Radio UK and in the past. So he spoke to us from his base. He gave his own analysis surrounding, diplomat movement, because it now becomes a blame game, because the police are saying that they were not told that they would have this kind of personnel in the state. Then again, he was giving us his own perspective, and likewise surrounding the private security. Not every Nigerian can afford it, but it is something that you need to look into as well. We remind ourselves about 2 videos that have been out there. One is about 5 years ago that was made by T.Y. Danjuma. T.Y. Danjuma is a former military, chief of staff that knew and understand the Nigerian military very well. He has told us that if we rely on the Nigerian military to protect us from those called, the terrorists surrounding Nigeria, where in Plateau State, about almost 80 people have been displaced, almost 30 people have been killed again. This is still happening in this week. And he told us 5 years ago that if any one of us is thinking that we have a security architect that can protect us, you will be living in denial. We went back to remind our listeners as well, surrounding Dr. Malafia late, that told us 2 years ago that a governor in the country, in the northern part, is involved in terrorism. But it seems that nobody has still find out who this governor is. So all these were packed up, and towards the end of the program, we actually discussed the Yoruba nation struggle, the way forward, and why in the movement, there must be people that lead the movement, and that is the YSDM, known as the Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, where Professor Banji Akintoye is the leader and Chief Ayiloge is also the deputy. And a lot of people that are still saying that the movement seems to be stuck. What is the way forward? Even as I was discussing this morning before coming on air, there was a program by the Biobank that have been doing a research on how people can live a better life with over 7,000 paperwork done so far. And this has been going on in 10 years. So asking for a Yoruba nation is not just about shouting, it's about also pushing the pressure through diplomacy. Since we don't want to have a war and a conflict blown into the country, there is no way we will stop engaging both the politicians at home and likewise the international relation that we continue to engage. So that was part of the conversation. All this can be watched back on a replay for those of you that missed Niger Voices.
Well, listeners, that is a sneak view of what was discussed on the Niger Voices yesterday. If you missed out, as he said, go to our social media platforms and you will be able to listen to it. But Yomi, before we come to Secretary Blinken and everything that he said and what is happening there, now, do you think that Dr. Malafia was talking about Shetima when he was referring to a government?
Well, because we're very careful not to point to a particular governor since there is no evidence that he gave us apart from that saying that there is a particular governor in the northern part of Nigeria. We know under the belt as the former governor Shetima, we lost the Chipo girls, and that today is still something that is bothering the minds of so many Nigerians. He's currently the vice president, as we do know, but there is a lot of messages out there to who could be part of this conspiracy that is creating the havoc in Nigeria. On the 13th day of this month, we saw the military that continue to do the little that they have, in terms of fighting the insurgency, were able to collect sophisticated weapons. I'm talking about RPG, bombs, bullets in their large quantity seized from this military neutralization of the terrorists in Borno State. The question then is, who is funding the terrorism in Nigeria, and what could be the reason? Do we have outsider involved inside, or do we also have insider that just want to destabilize the country and they're trying to put the blame on the self-determination people that have been asking for the right to self-determination?
Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK, the morning show. Updates from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi Koiki in our North London studios. I'm Archie here in the South studios, and we are bringing you everything that you got to know when it comes to what is happening in Nigeria. Updates from Nigeria. Bishop Adesina, good morning to you as well, and it's good to hear of you. Yes, it will be nice. It will be nice to see you one of these days, right? Okay. Now let's come to substantive issue that is going on. We had the attacks over, was it the day before yesterday? Yes, on Tuesday when some abduction and some killings took place when a U.S. convoy was abducted somewhere in the southeast. Okay, and then we have the Secretary U.S. Secretary saying, Blinken also coming out to say that, well, we seem to place a call with Tinubu. We don't have the content of the call though, but it seems to say he's giving thumbs up to him and they're saying that we have a relationship with Nigeria, blah, 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 blah. Now, with that, some have come to say that, well, it's a kick in the teeth of Atiku and Pichorobi. Okay, so it some way, somehow, some are saying that means that even the case that we are hearing, the tribunal, will not amount to anything. So what has Blinken said, and how is he actually even addressing the issue that happened last Tuesday and everything? Yomi.
Well, we know that there was a phone call that went through to the president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Is currently out of the country, so that call would have happened, while he's still in Paris. Probably, as a lot of Nigerians believe that, American has kept very quiet after the election, but this call means that there is now what we can call, a diplomatic relationship that Nigeria has had with the United States of America for a very long time. And that literally means that, even as much as there is still, wrangling going on between this result of the election, America believed that, life must continue, and that call went through. But this morning, Atiku and likewise, Peter Obi are not very pleased with that call, and the headline that is coming says, PDP and the Labour Party kicked as the Secretary of State calls Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Another paper put it this way: Atiku says Nigerians are demoralized over the United States decision to endorse a sham Tinubu election. This is inconceivable, considering that America, as the bastion of democracy, is well briefed on the sham of the election of February 2025. We know that Atiku came second, Peter Obi came third, but the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the 2023 general election, Atiku Abubakar, has taken to his Twitter to question the decision of the U.S. State Department to call President-elect Bola Tinubu, consequently endorsing what Atiku described as a sham election. The question that we should ask again is, what does America need to do? Do they have to wait until the final conclusion of the election tribunal, or should they just go ahead and make that call? I believe that, and I was listening to another angle. Let us remind ourselves that this week has been, what we can call the week of the tested time. Blinken told us that they have given a visa restriction to some Nigerians that undermine the democracy. There was a call to Bola Tinubu. There was an attack to the U.S. convoy. So this week alone has been all about the United States of America with Nigeria. And like I said, conspiracy or not, America believed that even if the election was wrong, maybe the court process should go ahead and deal with it, and they can't just wait until the result. But it seems that yesterday, the United States diplomatic mission in Nigeria announced that the U.S. Secretary of State, Blinken, has spoke to Tinubu on the topic relating to the Nigerian relation. And as I said, that has been a major conversation, as the Peter Obi and Atiku are not really pleased that that call has made through. What is happening from the camp of the Peter Obi, regarding this as well? Also, the chief spokesperson of Obi and Dati Presidential Campaign Council, Yunusa Tanko, said it was worrisome for Blinken to be discussing bilateral relations with Tinubu during the phone conversation. Blinken said he was committed to further strengthen the U.S., but Miller said the two leaders discussed the importance of inclusive, but the statement read Secretary of State this morning that the Nigerian president-elect to emphasize his continued commitment. But it seems that both from that of Peter Obi and Atiku are not really pleased. But what is the part of Tinubu camp saying? Rahman's statement read, in part, Asiwaju Tinubu spoke during the conversation with the U.S. Secretary of State, not yet with Joe Biden. We got to be specific about that. But we know that when the U.S. Secretary of State is speaking, is actually speaking on behalf of the government of the United States of America. So these are the message. Are Nigerians upset with this? It seems Atiku says Nigeria are already demoralized.
Is Nigeria Nigerians demoralized with everything, the statement that has gone on between Blinken and the president-elect? Well, that would be interesting because I know some people are thinking that, well, they've made that a statement, and that means that it gives the judiciary who are sitting on the tribunal the chance to just rule the whole thing, just let it go and let Tinubu be sworn in, or just squash whatever the appellants are putting across. But I'm not very sure of that, but we'll be following very, very closely. But someone who has got the one of the heavyweights in Nigeria who makes statements and people shake there as well is the Sultan of Sokoto. The Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Muhammadu Saad Abubakar, has commented on the controversies around the possibility of Bola Tinubu, the president-elect, not being inaugurated on May 29. Abubakar, while addressing traditional and religious leaders at the gathering on Wednesday, said whether everyone like it or not, Buhari will leave on May 29. A new government will be inaugurated. The Islamic leader in Nigeria then urged religious and traditional leaders to pray for the success of Tinubu's administration in piloting the affairs of the country. So it virtually seemed to sum up what we have all been saying, that look, this tribunal hearing and everything that is going on will not amount to anything. This is what is going to go on. 29th, Buhari will be out. Tinubu will be sworn in, whether they like it or not. I don't think the tribunal will come out with any verdict that will overturn Tinubu's victory. Yomi.
Well, yes, you're quite right. Yesterday, like you said, no one can stop Tinubu's inauguration on May 29th. Sultan of Sokoto, like you've explained there. He's a very, very powerful individual, especially within the Muslims in the northern part of Nigeria. I'm not too sure that a lot of Yorubas, are kind of, especially those that are agitating, doesn't believe that, we should be taking order from somebody like Sultan of Sokoto when we have our own, first-class king, the Oni of Ife and the rest of them. But we know the influence of Sultan of Sokoto. Is he speaking on behalf of the North now, also now saying that in as much as, some part of the North, because we know Atiku is from the North, Peter Obi is from the Southeast, regardless of their take, Tinubu inauguration must go ahead and Buhari must complete his tenure on the 29th without a day after. Because if Buhari leaves on the 30th, that has failed, and that literally means that democracy is probably going to collapse. And that is part of why Atiku is saying to the judiciary, do the needful, give us this outcome as quickly as possible. I mean, we can see what is happening in Turkey. There's a rerun going to happen. If there's going to be a rerun, there must also be something that will be coming out from the election tribunal. But like you said, the Sultan that spoke yesterday in a roundtable engagement with other traditional and religious rulers organized by the World Bank. You can tell that the World Bank is so powerful that they can also organize this kind of gathering. Remember, the World Banks needs Nigeria, especially Nigeria is in the debt, and that debt needs to be paid. So they are definitely going to continue to be part of the influence of any government in Nigeria. Nigeria should rather pray for Tinubu's administration to succeed, just as we prayed for Buhari to succeed. But 8 years down the line, inflation, insecurity, economy, education, welfare has actually failed under Buhari, even though there was a lot of prayer that went ahead with Buhari's coming in 2015. Maybe those prayers did not work for Buhari. It might work for Tinubu from the 29th, but time will tell, and we'll be here to continue to discuss and look into his governances after he has been fully taken the mantle. But for now, he's still a president-elect.
He's still the president-elect, of course. That we all know, whether by foul or good means, whatever it is. He was declared the president, the winner of that election. So if nothing happens, then for sure he's going to be sworn in. But what do you think? I want you to pass your comments and let us know exactly what you think about it. Now, the health minister is saying that over 1 billion people are suffering from hypertension. So I just take it that it's not only applying to Nigeria, because Nigeria is not up to 1 billion, it's up to about 250,000. So it's not, so it's looking at the worldwide issue. But with everything, the challenges that people are going through, the difficulties, it is obvious that people will be suffering from hypertension. And do our health sector actually have what it takes to actually take care of Nigerians as a whole? Yomi?
Well, maybe at the early stage of what somebody like the late Obafemi Awolowo was putting out there during the regional government, where we were in control of what we called the healthcare. At some point, we were told that the royal family from the Saudi Arabia were traveling to Nigeria at the University, College Hospital Ibadan for medical treatment. But today, this is what we can say is part of our healthcare, where this is Dr. Fayemi Healthcare Center in Nigeria. Yes, I mean, hypertension, tuberculosis, malaria, polio are part of what should have been, a research, which I was looking at the biobank this morning, during a breakfast program here in UK, where in 2000, over 500,000 Brits, decided to put a volunteer for them to be continuously, to be tested, to be looked into in terms of, progression for what they can call a research center. Nigeria lost that plot, after the regional government. And that is why today it is still very difficult that an average Nigerian can be taken care of properly until you travel out of the country. Even the president could not sit in the country to look after his own, self. The incoming president is also, already started taking treatment in Paris. But what caused hypertension is the question. We do know that a lot of, reasons why hypertension are there. It's not just something like you said in Nigeria, it's a worldwide problem. But according to Mr. Ehinera, yesterday in Abuja in a news conference commemorating the 2023 World Hypertension Day, stressing that controlling hypertension is a paramount in reducing the burden of the cardiovascular disease in the country. According to the minister, hypertension is the leading cardiovascular and a non-communicable disease responsible for the significant morbidity and mortality. He also said that the lower and the middle income countries, in Nigeria, we've lost the middle class. There's no middle class anymore. We have the rich and the poor. We're responsible for nearly 80%. So Nigeria is also part of the 1 billion around the world suffering with people living with hypertension, and that means a big problem with about 30% of the adults in Nigeria.
Sad one. Well, as I said, the leadership can fly out of the country and go and get their treatment. What about those down there? What can they do? Mr. Badesina says Nigerian people are in a soup. World Bank organizing political meetings for Nigerians in Nigeria. It goes over to say it is vivid. They came to protect their spot or their pot of soup. It is not that they care about Nigerians and its institutions. So virtually, that's why it's just trying to say that all that they are doing is to protect their interest, not Nigerians. Yomi?
I do know that a lot of our politicians prefer to be out of the country. They're scared of their health. Ondo State governor runs to Germany, for his own treatment. We do know he has lost weight. He's not doing very fit. As I met him in 2017, 2018. But health is not something that anybody can break down. But the question is, taking care of the people and yourself. It will be very difficult for Rishi Sunak to be traveling to Germany for medical treatment. That will blow, the proportion. Even though he has been taking private hospital clinic as against some of those that were using the NHS. Even though, a lot of our politicians prefer to be outside the country. But what about those in Nigeria? How will they be able to manage is always the big question.
Okay. Listen to Star Radio UK updates from Nigeria, 11:32 the time. Let's go on this one and then I can leave Yomi to continue. Well, a Nigerian man is crying out after Polarized Bank claims he is dead. Now, apparently, this man is not dead. And his account has been frozen as well. Of millions of naira in his account. So what has happened? Maybe some name came up that showed maybe or some dates, and maybe that's what has caused it. So Yomi?
Well, Nigeria is full of different news coming out every day. Imagine you are alive and you are told that you are dead and you can't even get your money out of the bank. This is the news coming out from Nigeria this morning as a Nigerian man cries out after Polaris Bank claimed he's dead. And they decided to freeze millions of his naira in his account. I believe maybe it's just that there's a kind of a mistake somewhere. And now that the news is out there, and they kind of, I don't know whether they have to do a DNA.
They will say that he's a ghost.
This is
when
the
they
real
saw
person.
him,
But according to what we know, Anthony said he suspected foul play after his account with the bank became inactive and he was unable to carry out any transaction. Olashile Anthony has now raised an alarm about how Polaris Bank froze his bank account by placing a post-no debit on it in an attempt to allegedly steal millions of naira from him. Narrating his ordeal, Anthony said he suspected the foul play after his account with the bank became inactive and he was unable to carry out the transaction. He said he contacted the bank and was told the bank was acting on the court order informing the bank that he was a dead man already.
I bet when they saw him, they thought this man is a ghost too. A ghost coming for his money. But well, it's all Starr in the UK. 11:34. Let's go back to Yomi for the rest of the stories making the rounds. Over to you, sir.
Well, we go straight to some of the other news. The university admission with tears. Direct entry applicants slept rough at the JAM office. I saw those videos, and again, it's just as what we've been discussing. Nigeria doesn't value education. We know that last year, almost 8 months, so many Nigerians under the leadership of the government refused to talk to the lecturers, and that means that if you were got pregnant last year as a female in one of the university, you probably delivered the baby before returning back to university, because 8 months was what the Nigerian students spent last year out of the university. Those that wants to get into the university are also now been sleeping rough at the Lagos INEC JAM office, where they were trying to get so many information there, but it seems things doesn't seem to be working there. Matalwali urged EFCC to probe presidency officials and ministers. The governor of Zamfara State, Bello Matawa, has urged the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission not to limit its corruption probe to governors alone, but to extend its officials of presidency and the members of the Federal Executive Council. The governor made the demand yesterday in a reaction to a report that quoted the EFCC chairman Abdulrashid Bawa as saying that the anti-graft agency had sent invitations to all the outgoing governors and commissioners for corruption probe. So it seems that it's not just about the governors. He wants almost every other person to be also checked as well. Starr Radio UK will take a few more, and then we're going to be going straight to the social media to pick up what is happening there this morning. Officials still missing after the unknown gunmen attack. This is coming from the U.S. Embassy convoy that happened in Anambra State. This is actually from Anthony J. Blinken, the Secretary of State. Well, can you imagine that Soludo, I am unaware of U.S. Embassy officials on a humanitarian mission in Anambra State. Then again, it shows now maybe there's a conspiracy to blame this on some individuals, or could it just be that there's a kind of an hidden agenda? He promised that Anambra government would actively work with the security agency to smoke out the criminals and bring them to justice. Governor Chukwuma Soludo, also the former governor of Central Bank, that is currently the governor of Anambra State, has expressed sadness over the attack on the United States Embassy staff and the policemen in the state, while saying his administration was not even aware of any humanitarian mission of the visiting team. Mr. Soludo said this in a statement that was signed by his press secretary, where Mr. Soludo said his administration had in the last year worked very hard with the gallant security forces to massively degrade criminality, restore law and order, and we pray that those other individuals that have been taken away will be found and returned as well. As race to the 10th Senate of the National Assembly continue, Doguwa pulls out of the speakership race and the rest continue. The majority leader of the House of Representatives, Ali Hassan Ado Doguwa, has renounced his speakership ambition. He declares withdrawal on Wednesday night during a meeting by the reps-elect at the Transcorp Hilton Hotel in Abuja. Also present there was the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, as well as Tajuddin Abbas and Benjamin Kalu, who were nominated by the All Progressive Congress for the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker position. We have to wait and see what is going to be the outcome of that as well. We take out one more and then straight into the social media, as there's a lot of conversation on the social media network this morning. Once again, this is still Star Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. So as we go into some of those activities and the news from the social media this morning, let's see what is trending. Abule Egba is trending, and I'm going to break that down. The reason why Abule Egba is trending: yesterday a young Nigerian was attacked brutally by again the security operatives in the state, where he was injured with blood gushing out from his head, and his motorbike known as Okada was removed. We do not know the reason behind that. Maybe he was driving on a one-way, maybe he was driving against the traffic law, but it seems that the operatives have not done the needful, and a lot of Nigerians are now responding on the Twitter on that. Peter Obi is trending at the 90,000. It still shows that there is a lot of conversation when it comes to Peter Obi, the obedience movement as well. So that is actually trending as well. Taraba State is trending. House of Representatives is trending this morning. So let's look at some of what is being said. Nobody can stop Tinubu's inauguration. That has got about almost 600 comments so far. Let's see what the response from the Sultan of Sokoto as Nigerians continue to monitor that. Omoya teacher at Ajagun Shegun, the co-ownership of Nigeria and the most powerful emir that rule over other kings have now spoken. Can Nigerian court change its order? Question mark, with the answer no. Just as we said earlier, but this Omoya teacher says that the real ownership and the powerful emir have spoken. Also, at Ezinwa is still a human, not a deity, yet the court can override whatever they claim. Also, Amina Abdullahi, those who have ears, let them hear. Oh, so you can tell that the Amina will probably be somebody from the northern part of the country, while Izima is from the southeast, while Omoya teacher is from the southwest. So you can tell that the three comments project why a lot of those that are campaigning for the right to self-determination continue to say, even though Nnamdi Kanu said it as well, give 4 years to all the ethnics in Nigeria, some of us will have been dead and come back before it gets to others as well. And this continue in the conversation. Kenneth Omorege say Tinubu has not won anything. Patient Williams says you are right that nobody can stop Tinubu inauguration, but God will surely stop it. We take one more from that. Brother Bat, how does Sultan of Sokoto's speech that nothing can stop Tinubu swearing in on May 29 make sense with a question mark? It does, because a number of powerful persons that benefit from the political roguery in Nigeria prefer the status quo to remain. I hereby tell Sultan that God will stop the evil. So you can tell that Nigerians are always divided when it comes to the current security or political surrounding Nigeria. And as we take one or two more, Dele Ogun, Nigerians, your very own color revolution is underway. So you could tell that again, different perspective. Ademola at Ogbeni Demola, I abandoned religion because the church, mosque, and religious books were unable to convince me. I abandoned religion because I study. It is evil history. I abandon religion because I do not need to follow man-made rules to God. And likewise, we take one more. Akpakpa denied collecting bribe is now causing the man who removed his cap at the Abuja court hearing yesterday on the petition. Imagine this elder statement, cap was removed. So he came in with the cap, but on his way out, the young Nigerians that are upset with him, especially the obedient, remove his cap. He's now cussing back anyone that removed his cap. I'm not sure whether he was able to get the cap back, but with the new interview, he's got a new cap. And the comment on that is saying, they go so remove his beard. Somebody is saying there as well. And this one also say, this one is actually complaining about the POS machine, under the UBA. I don't know why a lot of Nigerians, anytime the banks are not doing very well, they comment under a platform like anybody that is trending and be trusting that they will respond. And I can tell you, the comment says, I used my card on a POS machine to make a withdrawal, and the transaction was declined, and I was debited. Please, I need explanation. Trust me, UBA also went back to say, hello, kindly be informed that a response has been provided by your DM. Thank you. Why does it have to be that social media is where the banks will respond, but when you call them, they are not responding? But it seems that they don't want negativity on the social media. Let me come back again to you in the studio at 11:43.
Wow. Interesting updates from Nigeria. Olayomi says, good morning to Starr Radio UK, Archie, Frank, and Olayomi, and all the fans. Good morning to you, Olayomi. We hope that you are doing very, very well too. But interestingly, before we run up, there's this story that before the petition started, we had the Atiku and Peter Obi who wanted, they filed the petition to have the whole procedure or the proceeding aired. That means to show to be shown on TV, okay, or covered. But now Tinubu and Shetima has come out to say that no, it's not a soapbox, it's not a stadium, the court is not a stadium, it's not a theater where the public should be entertained. Now, people wanted to see what is going on there. We've seen it. If you hear now, criminal cases are being shown live on TV when rulings are taking place. So why is he? I mean, it's like he's old school. He doesn't understand anything that is modern here. Yomi.
Well, let's remind ourselves that Tinubu is someone that is scared of the social media. He knows the power of this media, but he will have to endure when it comes in finally. When he takes the mantle. So whether he's running away from it now, he would have to accept that social media is the new norm that a lot of Nigerians are using, for all kind of communication. So he would have to adjust. But yes, they're trying not to make any presentation of the election tribunal to be aired to Nigerians. Tinubu team believe that this is not the BB Nigeria, and likewise this is not a soap opera. This is serious, but Nigerians believe that even if it's serious, it needs to be transmitted. Whether it's going to be transmitted, I'm not too sure. Whether there will be a closure to that, because we now have 11 days to the inauguration. But as you can tell, Sultan of Sokoto have spoken. America has congratulated. Are we now preparing? Because it seems that Sultan was probably waiting for the Americans to finish that congratulation, and then they can back it up as well. We've not seen others that are saying anything, but it seems that, like you heard from those comments, Sultan is very powerful, in Nigeria, and it now seems that whether we like it or not, Buhari says, I am done, and if anybody disturb me in Daura, I'll run to Niger, because I need to just hand over to the next president to continue from where I stop.
Well, good luck to him. I wish that they say that they are extending this. He can't run away. We will hold him culpable for everything that is happening to Nigeria. But listeners, that is updates from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi Koiki. Yomi, before you go.
Well, tomorrow is another day, but we still have, Archie taking you to the rest of the program. There will be the hotspot of the housing. If you're buying into the property later on with the KB bossman himself, if you've missed the Niger Voices, you can go back on the Starr Radio UK and watch it again. And let's continue to say, the insecurity in Nigeria is still the responsibility of the federal government to protect both the diplomat, non-diplomat, Nigerians, and the foreigners in the country. Have a very great morning, and bye for now.
Bye-bye. Okay, listeners, that has been updates from Nigeria. It's 11:47 now. We're going to take some music, and then once we come back, we'll continue with some of the other stories making the rounds. Keep your comments still coming through. But this is a cover version of Bob Marley's tune, The Small Axe. And that's what we are. We sit here, you sit in the comfort of your home, and you know what? Whatever thing that is not good, we chop it down, replant, and make sure that things are known or the right things are done. What about that? All right, then. So enjoy this tune, and I'll be with you. Stay tuned. Don't go away.
achieve vanity. If I sow, I sow, but the goodness of Jaja, I endure it forever. So if you want a big tree, let me tell you that we are the small ants, ready to cut you down.
This is Starr Radio UK.
In your car, at work, at home, on your smartphone,
all around the world.
We are the small ants, sharp and ready to cut you down. Well, sharp and to cut you down. These are the words of my master. Keep on telling you, yeah. Oh, we heart shall prosper. Hey. And whosoever diggeth a pit shall fall in it, yeah. Fall in it, oh Lord. And whosoever diggeth a pit,
The best radio show.
broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. This is Starr Radio. This is Starr Radio. This is Starr Radio UK.
ready to cut you down. World sharp and to cut you down. And whosoever diggeth a pit, Lord, shall fall in it.
This is Starr Radio. This is Starr Radio UK.
And whosoever diggeth a pit shall bury in it, shall bury in it. So if you wanna be
In your car, at work, at home, on your smartphone.
time again. If you want a big dream, yeah, we are the small and sharp and ready to cut you down. Well, sharp and to cut you down.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Star Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy. Welcome back to the program. It is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to 3 minutes to the top of the hour. And it is the Thursday edition of the morning show. As they say, the program ends exactly at 12:30. Okay, so wherever you are, just continue to listen to us and share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones. You want to hop in to share your take on any of the issues that is being discussed, feel free to do so. You can call us on 0208-133-2257 or 580208-133-2257 or 58. Or you can also go on to look or call us if you happen to be in the US, Canada,
or the Caribbean area, 001-718-303-2737, 001-718-303-2737. You can text or WhatsApp us as well, 075-3966-1744, 075-3966-1744. Our Twitter handle is Starr Radio UK, and email address is info@starradiouk.com. And as I did say earlier on, tomorrow, God willing, I should have the one and only women to women ministry leadership on the show between 12:15 and 1:30. Yes, okay. 12:15 and 12:30. My apologies. We'll be having as our special guest, the guest speaker for that program, Rebecca Harris, who holds a BSc in Global Nutrition and Health. They are hosting a program known as the Supermarket Sweep, and it's unpacking food labels and what they mean, especially those of us who live here in this part of the world. Now, you go to the shop and there are the labels there. Now, how to read food labels in a rush, because you cannot take your time and now sit down, get a chair, and just be going through that. And no, you can't do that. You don't have the time to do that. And what is the traffic light system and how you can use it as well? So just go in there, you pick it, green. I like green, I like yellow, or I like or amber, or I like red. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, then you are gone. Okay, how will that work? And demystifying terms such as whole grain, whole foods, plant-based, low fat, etc., etc. How is it good for your health? She will be telling us more about that. That program takes place on the 20th. That's Saturday, May 20th of May 2023. The time 1 p.m. The venue is going to be Fulham United Reformed Church. It's at 472-480 Fulham Palace Road, London. The postcode once again, SW66HY, SW66HY, and it's hosted by Pastor Annette Hercules. All right, for any contact details or any RSVP, contact 07808807151, 07808807151. Okay. And as I did announce earlier on as well, this evening exactly at 7 p.m., KB Bossman and Vicky Newton will be hosting Dansua Adote, Hannah Atiase, and Abba Amoa on the African Women in Real Estate program. That is today from 7 p.m. That is the topic, African Women in Real Estate. Well, so obviously the woman in the house, that will be Vicky Newton, who will be here heading the ship or be in control of the ship. So make sure you make a date with her once she comes on the show. Okay, it's all going to be happening today. It's a minute after 12 the time. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well. It is the Thursday edition of the morning show. So stay tuned and don't you go away. Okay. Let me bring you the rest of the stories making the rounds this morning. Just bear with me. It seems that my broadcast has eluded me here, but just bear with me. Let's take this short commercial break and I'll be with you, please.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to exactly 4 minutes past the top of the hour. And let's move on now. Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well. Okay, so now let's go straight to some of the other African countries to look at some of the stories making the rounds there. Let me say, Mr. Malik Dramani Mahama, massive good morning to you, or good afternoon to you, and to the team that in that office as well. Okay, hope you are all doing good, as my friend would say. Yaku? Yes, Yaku. All right then. So, what's on the stories? Kenya Shakahola massacre death toll rises to 226. Let me bring you details of that. The death toll from the Shakahola massacre in the southeastern Kenyan forest, where a cult leader was meeting to fast to meet Jesus, has risen to 226 after 15 more bodies were found on Wednesday, the region's prefect announced. Now, the police believe that most of the bodies discovered near the coastal town of Malindi are those of followers of the sect of Paul Nchenge Mackenzie, a former taxi driver, self-proclaimed pastor of the Good News International Church that he created. Now, after Wednesday operations, 14 bodies were exhumed and one was found in the forest, said the region's prefect, Rhoda Onyancha. Now, adding that another person had been found alive by the rescue team. Interesting. Autopsies on the first 112 bodies show that most of the victims died of starvation, presumably after following the preaching of Paul Ntenge Mackenzie, who is to be prosecuted for terrorism. Now, some victims, including children, were strangled, beaten, or suffocated. The head of forensic operation, Johansen Odo, said a fortnight ago. Autopsies also revealed that there were missing organs on some of the bodies. The Criminal Investigation Department said in the court document seen on the 9th, referring to a well-coordinated trafficking of human organs involving several actors. Nigeria Minister Kituri Kindiki had called for caution on the matter, saying it was a theory we are investigating. The mock reports are still being finalized and I don't want to preempt the case, he said. Now, Paul Mackenzie has been detained since he surrendered to the authorities of the 14th April after police discovered the first victims in the Shakahola forest. Around 50 mass graves had been discovered since then. Kenya's most influential pastor, Ezekiel Odero, was sentenced on the 28th in connection with the case and later released on bail. He is being investigated because the possible presence of bodies of some of his followers among the bodies found in Shakahola. More than 20 bank accounts belonging to him have been frozen as well. The massacre caused a stir in the religious East African country and rekindled the debate on the regulation of religious worship in Kenya, a predominantly Christian country with 4,000 churches, according to official figures. President William Ruto has set up a task force to review the legal and regulatory framework governing religious organization. You know, that's one of the difficult things to actually regulate. Because how do you know that what I'm saying, that God is speaking to me or telling me something, is true or not true? I say when I slept, God revealed something to me. How do you know? You cannot use these senses, your human senses, just to actually or logic to say that okay, I use that. No, when it comes to things like that, well, but what do you think about all that? Let me know your thoughts about it. Were they being sycophants? Were they not trying to think for themselves? And when the person was directing them, as we say, you have to believe your prophets and your leaders, and then everything will pan out well for you. So do we take that thing out of the Bible so that those who are somehow using that to indoctrinate their people and killing them or siphoning wealth from them will be, found out? What do you think? Tunisia's President Said meets religious leaders. Well, okay. Now, a week after the deadly shooting outside a synagogue in Jeddah that resulted in 5 dead, Tunisian President Kais Saied reaffirmed his country as a place of tolerance during a meeting held on Wednesday with Jewish, Muslim, and Christian leaders. This is an important historical meeting that attests to the tolerance and coexistence that has characterized Tunisia for centuries, said Tunisian President Kais Saied. Now, Tunisia's Chief Rabbi Haim Bitan also spoke on behalf of the Jewish community. The meeting with the president was excellent. He said everything he had in his heart. He gave us good explanation. I am convinced that the Jews of Tunisia live like all other Tunisians. He gave us the assurance that what happened in Jeddah will not happen again, said the chief rabbi. On Wednesday, local media reported that 4 people linked to the attack or the attacker were arrested and placed in custody. The attack against the Griba synagogue, the oldest synagogue in Africa, took place on the island of Jeddah during the annual Jewish pilgrimage on the 9th of May. It is Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, I got 2 other stories to bring your way, and then we move on. Now, Mayotte is a volcanic island north of Madagascar known for its vanilla and tea plantations. Far from the postcard settings, social tension has been brewing on the island for years. The central government in mainland France launched an operation to carry out mass expulsions, destroy slums, and eradicate violent gangs. Now, nearly 1 month since the start of Operation Wambushu in the Mayotte, tension remains high on the island. France's government has sent 2,000 troops and police to carry out mass expulsions, destroy slums, and eradicate violent gangs. Just as the police contingent arrived from mainland France, a court blocked expulsion, and neighboring Comoros at first refused to welcome the migrants back. The operation has raised concerns of abuse, aggravation, tensions between local residents and immigrants from the Union of the Comoros. It has also laid bare tensions over the island's status, which is part of the Comoros archipelago but a French territory. Well, now somebody would say in modern times, so nobody controls nobody, or there shouldn't be any marginalization. Well, the French are perpetrating that to the locals. But what do you think about all that? It's all coming your way from Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay. Well, so let's move on. Let's move on straight on to some other stories making the rounds there as well. Some of the stories making the rounds there as well. And this time around, let's go to one other story in Guinea. Now, Guinea's junta requisitions army in face of protests threatens to apply anti-terrorism laws. Okay, and the story says the ruling junta in Guinea commandeered the army on Wednesday in the face of fresh opposition protests and threatened to apply anti-terrorism laws provided for up to life imprisonment against those responsible for a crisis situation. An AFP correspondent reported the presence of Red Berets and army vehicles and armor in the suburbs of the capital Conakry, where the opposition has called for 2 days of demonstrations on Wednesday and Thursday. Now, the calls for demonstrations appeared to be poorly attended on the street. Now, Internet Monitoring Services, NetBlock, said on social networks that access to various platforms had been restricted. The Ministry of Territorial Administration, the Minister of Territorial Administration, Mori Konde, said in a statement read on national television on Tuesday evening that the opposition demonstrations are the occasion of a real urban guerrilla war, where the demonstrators with unprecedented violence are raining terror and attacking the security forces with lethal means. We have taken the legal responsibility of requisition dated the 15th of May to request the assistance of the armed forces to support the police and gendarme forces who were in difficulty to maintain and restore public order, the statement read. It's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, still going on. Just bear with us whilst we bring you the rest of the program. Okay, so now just quickly moving on to some stories making the rounds in Ghana as well. Now, Ghana breached debt sustainability analysis leading to debt distress. So what brought about that? We all know. Some I've been talking about that for a while. Now, because of mismanagement, and yesterday I had one professor here in the UK also make an assessment on the government that the government was not doing well and has mismanaged the finances of the country. The International Monetary Fund has stated that Ghana breached the debt sustainability analysis threshold, a situation that led the country into debt distress. In the statement titled Request for an Arrangement under the Extended Credit Facility Program, the fund said Ghana is in debt distress. It added that the country's debt level is also unsustainable. Now, given the ongoing debt restructuring and large and protracted breaches to the debt sustainability analysis threshold, Ghana is in debt distress and debt is assessed as unsustainable. It pointed out that public debt increased to 88.1% of gross domestic product by end of 2022, almost evenly split between external 42.4% of GDP and domestic 45.7% of GDP. Again, the fund mentioned that gross financing needs have reached about 90% of GDP under the proposed program's baseline projections, which do not consider the possible outcome of the ongoing debt restructuring. The ratios of present value of the public and external debt to GDP and the ratios of external debt service to revenues and exports are and would remain above their LIC and DSF thresholds over the medium and long term, it added. So now we're talking about restructuring and cutting. Government said there was not going to be any haircut, but I tell you, some people have been cut Sakura already. But the question is, what is government actually doing about the quantum number of people working in the presidency, various portfolios, the amount of money that is being churned in there to say to them? What do you think about all that? Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, the Supreme Court yesterday ruled that Judge Koiki is no more an MP. Is qualified to be an MP, and therefore there's going to be a rerun not a by-election, let me put it that way. The minority in parliament has vehemently slammed the Supreme Court decision to nullify the 2020 parliamentary election results in a Sin North constituency, describing it as perplexing, a slap in the face of Ghana's democracy and the rule of law. The group, in a statement released on Wednesday and signed by its leader, Dr. Kessel Atuforsen, said the caucus is strongly against the ruling. The Supreme Court has, in a unanimous decision, declared the election of James Jache Kwesen as Member of Parliament for Asin North as now void and unconstitutional. The panel of 7, presided over by Justice Jones Joche, said the election of James Kwesen, when he owed allegiance to a country other than Ghana, is inconsistent with the and violates Article 94, Section 2A of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, 1992. The court has ordered Parliament to expunge his name as MP from its records. Now, Justice Jones Victor Doche, Justice Nene Amegache, Justice Mariama Owusu, Gertrude Araba Takono, Justice Professor Henrietta Mensah Bonsu, Justice Yoni Kulendi, and Justice Barbara Akayensu declared that Mr. Kwesen was not qualified at the time he contested the election. But the minority leader, Dr. Atuforsen, in the statement maintained that at the time of his election, Honorable James Jache Kwesen was not a dual citizen. Neither was he a dual citizen as at the time he took the oath of office as a member of parliament. The intention of the framers of Ghana's constitution is not to allow dual citizens to perform the function of parliament. According to him, the minority caucus is yet to study the reasoning of the court in making its decision, adding that we shall inform the public of our position upon reviewing the reasoning of the court in arriving at this decision. We urge our rank and file to be calm while we pursue all legal avenues to ensure that justice is served. Well, somebody say they serve justice, whether hot or cold, whichever way that they served it now. But there's going to be a by-election, and I think the NDC is going to throw its weight behind Jache Kwesen. On that by-election. So let's keep fingers crossed. James Jache Kwesen. So let's see how things pan out there. But it's all Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. A quick one from here, and then we go away. I have just been informed by a British naturalized Ghanaian citizen his sad encounter at a bank in Kumasi on Tuesday, the 16th of May. His sad encounter with a cashier, an operations manager, and a policeman at the bank went as follows. The naturalized British citizen of Ghanaian origin deposited about 12,000 Ghana cedis with the bank over 7 years ago when he went to Ghana on holiday. He used his British passport as his identity when opening the bank account and making the deposit. It was acceptable with the bank without issues raised. However, when he returned to Ghana about 4 weeks ago and needed money urgently to purchase his expensive medical prescription drugs that he cannot do away with, he called at the bank but only to be refused the withdrawal of his own money. But the cashier and the operations manager insisted that without providing a Ghana card, he can't withdraw the money. I decided to pick this story because it affects most of us in this part of the world and in the diaspora, let me put it that way. As he kept insisting on being allowed to withdraw his money for urgent purpose, they classed him as being a nuisance, then called in a gun-toting police officer who ordered him to leave the bank premises without further delay. The exchanges of words went on until the cashier showed him on the computer how any process taken to withdraw the money for him gets stuck at a point where they were required to put in his Ghana card number, without which the system does not allow the bank to proceed any further with the withdrawal process. Now, why has the Ghana government made it obligatory that without the presentation of a Ghana card in your name, you cannot withdraw your money from the bank, let alone open a bank account. Fair enough. Every Ghanaian must possess a Ghana card for obvious reasons. However, it is required of a visiting foreigner to compulsorily own a Ghana card if the person is not coming to reside in Ghana? The person in question opened his bank account when the possession of Ghana card was not an obligation. Now, why can't there be an exception in such critical situation to allow depositors to withdraw their money using the very foreign identity documents used to open the account? Again, I understand that there is only the center in the whole of Ashanti region where one can go to procure for themselves a Ghana card at a fee of 280 Ghana cedis at the center. The queue of those seeking Ghana cards snakes for several tens of hundreds of meters in the scorching sun without anywhere to sit, even if you are physically disabled, as in the case of the man in question. At the Ghana card center again, some of the cell-styled contractors are understood to come out from the office shouting, "Who has 400 Ghana cedis to pay to be given priority?" Those able to afford that sum are taken inside the room ahead of their colleagues in the queue to be issued their Ghana card. Corruption is clearly going on there if what I have been told is nothing but absolute truth. And it's a sad one. What I'm looking at is that, can you just imagine you've traveled back home like me? I don't have a Ghana card, okay? I don't have a Ghana card. So if I've gone to Ghana now and I want to access my account there, are they going to say that I can't do that? So until I get a Ghana card, I cannot be able to access my account? Oh my goodness. All right then. I don't know. We need to find one of the financial those who are good in finance there to tell us more about what we have to do. Do you have to have a foreign account so that when you go there you can be using your foreign account? And even with a foreign account, with your passport, your foreign passport, if you have not got a Ghana card, will you be allowed to take your money out or withdraw? Well. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We're going to be running out pretty soon, but let's look at one other story from other parts of the world. Colombia plane crash. Children reportedly survived 16 days in jungle. It's one of the stories that I want to pick up quickly, and then we run up the program. Officials in Colombia say 4 children are missing since their plane crashed in the jungle, have been found alive and well more than 2 weeks later. Their mother and the other adults were killed in the crash. The government child welfare agency said it had received information from the field that the children had been found in good health. A pilot said he had also been told the children had been found by indigenous people deep in the rainforest. The soldiers taking part in the search, however, have yet to see the children for themselves. Cessna 206 light aircraft they had been in was flying from Araracura deep in the Amazon jungle in southern Colombia to San Jose del Guaviare when it disappeared in the morning of May 1 or 1st of May. Its pilot had earlier reported engine problems after a huge search efforts involving more than 100 soldiers. The plane was finally located on Monday, 2 weeks after it had disappeared. The bodies of the pilot, the co-pilot, and 33-year-old Magdalena Mukuti, the mother of the 4 children, were found at the crash site in Caqueta province. But the children, who aged between 13, 9, and 4 years, as well as an 11-month baby, were nowhere to be found. The search team have, however, found clues indicating that the children, who are from the Huitotu indigenous group, survived the crash. Sniffer dogs came across a child drinking bottle, a pair of scissors, a hair tie, and some half-eaten fruits. The search teams also found an improvised shelter made from sticks and branches. We think the children who were aboard the plane are alive. We have found traces at a different location away from the crash site and a place where they may have sheltered, Colonel Jean Jose Lopez said on Wednesday. Listeners, this is where I have to bring the program to a close because of our time. Okay. For the parents in this part of the world whose children are writing the SATs, the content of last week's year 6 SATs reading paper has been published early. Now, some teachers and parents said it was tough. It left children in tears. One question asked 10 and 11-year-olds to find a similar word to eat in a passage that contained both consume and feeding. If a staff had to really think about their answers, the National Association of Head Teachers said, the Department for Education said the SATs were rigorously trialed. The test materials and mark schemes were to be published on Monday, but the Standards and Testing Agency said it was making them available early due to public interest in the tests. All right then. So, yeah, chin up. They're going to do well. Okay? What is another word for eat? Is it consume? Or what? What's the other one? Or feeding? To consume or feeding? Yeah, tell me. All right then. So let me say thank you very much. But as I did announce, this evening exactly at 7 o'clock, we're having KB Bossman, Vicky Newton, and all those special guests coming your way, and they are going to bring you nothing else than the Pasukurumpum, the Property Hour Show, and they'll be hosting Danswa Adote, Hannah Atiase, and Abba Amoa on the African in Real Estate program. It's going to be discussion, and that is the Property Hour Show with KB Bossman and Vicky Newton at 7 p.m. today. And as I did say earlier on as well, tomorrow I'll be hosting the one and only Rebecca Harris, who holds a BSc in Global Nutrition and Health, and from the Women to Women Ministry program that's going to be taking place on Saturday, the 20th of May at 1 p.m. venue Fulham United Reformed Church, 472 to 480 Fulham Palace Road, London, SW6 6HY. The topic is going to be supermarket sweep and how to unpack food labels and what they really mean, how to read food labels in a rush, and what is a traffic light system and how you can use it, and demystifying terms such as whole grain, whole foods, plant-based, low fat, etc., etc. All right then. So on that note, let me say thank you very much for joining me once again. It's been a pleasure coming your way. Stay blessed and don't you go away. But as I played earlier on, well, if you're a big tree, I want you to understand we are the small axe and we can hew you down. So stay blessed. Bye bye for now. I'll see you tomorrow on the Friday edition of the morning show. Bye bye.
listening.